guys, welcome back to Bake by Finn. My name's Finn and I'm the winner of Junior Bake Off 2019. And today I'm doing a collaboration with Tala to show you how to make the perfect strawberry and cream macarons. So before we get started, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone at Tala for sending me some amazing products and allowing me to do this collaboration with them. So the first thing that we're going to do is put our ground almonds and our icing sugar into a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, don't worry. Your macarons just might not be as smooth on top, but still, don't worry, it doesn't matter that much. If you've got a spice grinder, that's great, just do small batches in there. And when we're doing it in the food processor, just pulse it, don't leave it blending because the oils will come out from the almonds and it'll turn into a paste. So just pulse this for a bit. It's not plugged in. Oh. So when it's plugged in, just pulse it for like maybe 20 times, just on, off, on, off, on, off, until it's all incorporated together and it just looks a little bit more fine. So I'm happy with that now. It's all come to one colour because it's all blended together. And I'm just going to pop this off here and move this blade carefully because it's sharp. And then, I'm really sorry to say this, but if you hate sieving things, sorry, because there's no getting around this. You really do need to sieve it, no matter if you've blended it or not. It's just going to get you those picture perfect macarons. Also, if you like any of these products that I'm using, like the bowl, the wooden spoon, this spatula that I really like, or even these little ramekins or the piping bags or the piping bag set, I will leave a link to Tala's shopping website in the description below and a link to all of these products so you can buy them because they are amazing. Just pop some of the mixture into a sieve and then just shuffle it through. So my almonds and icing sugar is all sifted together now, it's nice and fine, and the next thing we're going to do is pop in half of our egg whites. So there's 144 grams in total, so this is about 72 grams. Just pop that in there, and then with a wooden spoon or something, I'm just going to mix that together. I'm going to add a little bit of red food colour into mine. You can add whatever colour you want, like blue, purple, whatever, but just be mindful how much you use because you don't want to add too little, and then because when you add the egg whites it's going to like mellow the colour out a little bit. Add too much and it's going to, if you're using red, it's just going to look like blood. Right, so my almonds are mixed together now, so it's formed like a paste. It's really thick, as you can see. It's really thick now, it looks a little bit like Play-Doh. And now I'm just going to leave this to one side, covered with a little bit of cling film, while we get on with making the meringue. So in a large pan, just get your sugar and then add the water to it. Put it on a medium to high heat and heat it until it gets to 118 degrees. Ready now, and the key with the Italian meringue for macarons is you don't want it to be too firm, like as if you're doing meringue kisses or something like that. So as you can see, it's firm but it's still got a little bit of movement in it and it's not fully like stiff peaks. So scrape all of that off the wooden spoon, and now we're going to fold the Italian meringue into this almond mixture. And this process is called macaronage. I don't know what it means. I think it might just mean folding. And the first thing I'm going to do is just get a big dollop of the meringue and just mix it. Don't fold it, just mix it into this almond mixture, because this is really stiff, and if you just try and fold all of this at once into that, you're going to struggle. So you need to sort of lighten it up a bit with a bit of the meringue. Now it's a bit that a lot of people fear, because you can overmix and you can undermix. If you overmix, you get soup. If you undermix, then your batter is just so thick and the end result is just not going to be what you want, and you're just going to get little, like you're going to get piping marks in the meringue, that way you can see it's been piped. So I'm just going to pop all of that into there, scrape every last little bit out of this bowl. Spatulas are great for that as well, and when you're doing this, don't use a wooden spoon, use the spatula and just go over and then cut through, over, under, cut through, and just keep doing this until there's no big streaks of white or dark pink. Now it's really good how we can add the food colouring into the almond mixture, because that is just going to tell us, well, it's going to be a lot more obvious if we've not got any of that almond mixture properly mixed in, which is really helpful for beginners or even people that just want to make their life a whole lot easier. Right, mine is great now, it's all ready, and now I'm going to get a piping bag and put a 1 centimetre nozzle in it. If you want to go a little bit smaller so you can have a bit more control, that's fine, do that. But I just find a 1 centimetre nozzle works great for me. So I've got a silicone mat here, and it's made for macarons or meringue kisses. You'll have seen me use these before in my meringue kisses video, which you can find up here, I want to say. And they're great because you pipe them up to the black line, and then if the batter's right, it should spread to the red line, depending on how high your piping bag was. So I think I'm going to use this reusable Tala piping bag. Now if you want to buy this, it comes with 6 nozzles and a nozzle cleaner, which are really great to just clean the nozzles. Get the bag and then twist the base, because this is quite a runny mixture and you don't want it falling all out from the bottom of the bag. That would be bad. And just grab a cup or something like this, and then just prop the bag up. You might need to do this in a few stages because you don't want a load of mixture in the bag at once. It just becomes a little bit too much to handle, especially if you're just starting out making macarons. Just get all of that in there. And now is probably another thing that people are scared of, and that is piping the macarons. Now I have a few little good tips and tricks that will make your life so much easier. So get the bag, hold it quite confidently, and then hold it over the thing about 1 centimetre above, and then just pipe and then do a little flick off. That'll just make top of them neater, and then just keep going. So this is my first mat done, and I'm just going to leave this to one side while I pipe another, and then I'll show you what to do next. So I've moved this tray of macarons onto a tray, and you might be noticing at this point, they've got like lumps and bumps and all of that poly stuff on them. Don't worry, it's just air pockets, and there is a really easy way to fix them. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the tray and just few little taps just to settle the macarons. It's going to bring all the air bubbles to the top, and then with a skewer or a kebab stick or just something pointy, just pop those little bubbles and then wiggle them back together. Right, so once you think you've got all the bubbles, You're going to notice you're going to have a little bit of a ridge around some of them where the cocktail stick's been wiggling. And just give that little tap and they'll all just settle back while we rest them. Now, really you don't need to rest them when you've used an Italian meringue, but this is just sort of an insurance policy to make sure you get like those nice little feet on them that you get. So I'm just going to leave these for like half an hour to an hour and then I'll start baking them. So while my macarons are resting and getting a skin, it's time to get on with the filling, and I'm going to fill this with some strawberry jam and then some vanilla white chocolate ganache. So in here I've got chocolate and double cream. It's not been heated up yet, and then I'm just going to add a little drop or two of vanilla and then just give that a little swish round. And then we're just going to pop this in the microwave with the ganache. I heated it for 45 seconds in the microwave, took it out, just give it a little swish about. Don't stir it, because if you stir it it's more likely to split and we do not want that. And then just give it a little swirl, and then I put it back in the microwave for another 30 seconds, did the same thing and then put it back in for another 30 seconds, and I've just left it for probably about another 30 seconds just to like fully melt the chocolate. And now with a whisk I'm just going to give it a little stir about. If you find that you've got any lumps or bumps or bits of unmelted chocolate, just stick it back in the microwave for another like 20 seconds and it should be great. And now we just need to let this cool down for a bit until it's gone nice and thick, and then we're going to give it a little bit of a whisk so it goes a little bit lighter in colour and a bit of a lighter texture. So for now, just stick this in the fridge covered for about maybe 10 to 15 minutes and then just give it another good whisk. So my macarons have been resting for about 45 minutes and I can touch them now, and my fingers are dry obviously because they've got a skin set on them, and that means they are ready to bake. Now I'm going to tell you this now, if they've got the skin on them, now it's a bit too late to start wiggling them with the skewer, because it's got the skin on them and you're just going to break the skin and you don't want that. So now I'm going to bake them in a preheated oven at 150 degrees, and I'm going to bake them for about 10 to 12 minutes, so they really don't take long to bake at all. Really it's just the resting that takes the most time. As you can see, my macarons are out of the oven now, and I've just taken them off the hot tray and placed them onto the table, because that tray is obviously going to be really hot because it's been in the oven, and when your macarons are baked, if you leave them on that tray it's going to keep baking them and pushing heat into them, which you just don't want, because then you're going to get overbaked macarons and then you're going to get like holes in them. Like, what's the word? Hollow. You're going to get hollow macarons and you don't want that. So now I'm going to leave these to cool for like just 10 minutes. They really don't take long. And then I'm going to show you a really great way how to peel them off without getting loads stuck to the silicone mat. So whenever I've made macarons, I find it the easiest to just get a palette knife or something like that and then just run it straight under the macaron just to release it. That just works for me. Like, obviously if you've done them before and you find another way works, some people like to get the silicone mat and do it like over a sharp corner to release it. You can do that, but I just find a clean spatula just works the best. So now that you know how to get them off, I'm going to remove all of these, put them onto a plate, and then I'll show you how to fill them. The next stage of the macaron is probably the most important, because this is what transforms into a little boring almond biscuit into like a really flavourful macaron. And it's up to you whatever you use. You can use buttercream or you can use leftover egg yolks to make creme pat. That's a really good idea if you want to use up all of the egg. But this is the chocolate ganache from before, and I've just given this a bit of a whisk, and it's gone nice and pale and it's gone a little bit moussey. And then I've also got some strawberry jam here, and if you want to know how to make this, I'll leave the recipe and the method in the description box below. So now we need to fill them, and to do this I'm going to use these piping bags. Obviously you can use the reusable one and just wash it out, but I'm just going to be using these just to show you the range of products Tala has to offer. Again, if you want to find any of these, I will leave the link in the description for you to have a cheeky look at. So I think anyone that's started baking has used these before. You just fill them up, close them and then throw them away. So it's now finally time to fill the macarons, and as you can see I'm doing this by just piping a border of white chocolate ganache around the edges. This is just to make sure that all of the jam sticks in and it's not oozing out. White chocolate ganache also obviously sets really hard, which is great for macarons, so it's not oozing out the side. So now I'm going to pipe some jam in between the white chocolate ganache. That's why we've just left a little bit of a space, because the border will hold all the jam in and it won't ooze out, as I said before. Now all you need to do is put the macaron lid on top of the filled macaron, and then all we're going to do now is leave it to set up in the fridge for a bit, and then just leave it there for another 1 to 2 days. I prefer 2 days, so it just gives the macarons a better chance to age, and you'll get a nicer, chewier macaron, and the filling will really be bonded to the shell, which is really good. My macarons have been sitting in the fridge for about 2 days, so they've had more than enough time to age, and now it's the time to enjoy them. However, before I have one of these, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone at Tala for sending me these amazing products, and if you like anything that I've used in this video, I will leave a link in the description below to where you can find it. Right, see you next time, bye!